I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And a happy Sunday fun day to everybody out there. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Happy all of the things.
Happy birthday.
Yes, it was my birthday.
It was his birthday yesterday.
It was my birthday yesterday. There we go. Hey, this is Scott Duff, and that's Ellen Miller.
Hello, Scott.
Hello.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Almost Happy New Year.
I know, almost Happy New Year and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Happy Boxing Day. That was a few days ago.
Yes, I had a lovely Boxing Day.
Good.
Yes. It's the last show of the year.
I know.
What?
Another year gone by.
I know. What a ride 2024 has been.
Yeah.
Lord only knows what's going to be happening for 2025.
I have no idea. We will find out together.
We will find out together. But again, today we thought we would look back on some of the conversations we had this year and share some of our favorite moments, as well as a couple of calls to action. Just a little reminders what's going on, what's coming up and everything.
Always good.
So we're doing that sort of vibe today. But and once again, we've got prizes.
We do.
We're going to be giving out 2 gift certificates to Fry the Coop, because who doesn't love hot chicken?
I know I love it.
And
hotter the better.
Meat tallow. Meat tallow.
Okay.
That's the secret.
Oh, to the fries?
Yes, to the frying of it. So, hey.
Yeah, that's true.
I know. So, and also, we would love to hear from you all out there, our lovely listeners about Chicago on WCPT. What stuck out for you this year? It was a really weird year that's going on.
One thing in particular, but...
Oh, yeah. But that one thing also had weird moments all around, the gold shoes.
Oh, God.
The Bible.
There's guitars now, too.
There's guitars. It's
nuts.
But it's crazy. So give us a call, 773-763-9278. The number again is 773-763-9278. We'd love to hear what you thought about this Kooky Pants here. Also, hey, you can also listen to us, find us on Facebook, where we're coming at you live. Just head on over to Out Chicago Radio, and while you're there, give us a like and a click and a share and all that good stuff. And if that doesn't float your boat, you can always tune in on WCPT AM 820. And while you're at that, follow WCPT and our sister network, Heartland Signal, on all the social medias. Yes. How are you doing? How are your holidays going?
Actually, we got a Christmas miracle. I mentioned, I think over the last couple weeks, our beloved pup Maggie got diagnosed with lymphoma several weeks ago, and we opted, since we have the means, to fight it with chemo. And the doctor said, I asked a vet, I go, what would you do if it was your dog? She goes, I would give it a try. These dogs respond well to chemo for lymphoma. So we did. And on Christmas Eve, took her in for her next chemo treatment and blood work. And they announced that she's over 90% in remission.
Yay!
That is the best kind of gift one could
applause
give
from everyone. I love it.
The best kind of news one could give us. I knew something was up because we've been cutting back her meds, and she's been doing great. And there was literally, Scott, 3 Saturdays ago, we thought when we took her in, we were going to have to say goodbye to her. She was in that much pain. But her liver and her spleen, the cancer is... in remission. So it's not a cure.
But you'll get some extra time.
But it is, there's a potential to get 6 to 9 months potentially with her. So we are thrilled. She looks completely normal to look at her. You would not believe she was on death's door a few weeks ago.
Good.
So it's nice to have
Sweet
good
Maggie.
news. Yeah, she's such a sweet girl. And Kathy left this morning to... for the second time. She went a couple weeks ago, and the surgery was canceled. Her mom's having a heart valve repair surgery tomorrow morning in Nashville at Vanderbilt, and it's been rescheduled 3 times. So our holidays...
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm. They've been on hold, but she's got through all the big ones, all the parties, the Christmas Eve, Christmas... I'll be without her for New Year's, but it's a small price to pay because I got a healthy dog and she's going to have a healthy mom.
There we are. Amazing.
So I'm grateful for that.
That's wonderful.
And I'm grateful for you. You had a birthday.
I did
yesterday,
what?
And I always like to give Scott a little something on his birthday, and I like to do it on the air.
Oh my goodness! Is it going to be another cucumber?
Oh,
Lord
darn,
knows.
I wish. Although
You still
I
have-
was
you still
still
have tomatoes, I saw.
I still have some tomatoes that I'm
What is
ripening.
this? Do I need to read the card?
Read the card, yeah,
Oh, God,
read the
okay, so I gotta
card.
read the card first. Oh my gosh.
And, yes, and it's. I thought
okay.
it was apropos. It's for
There
both
we are.
Sweetie and for me. What,
You're
read
the
it.
big cheese. There's no one greater. It's a cheese and a cheese grater. Come on. Yeah. Time to get you a really cheesy card for your birthday. Yes, we do have a theme. It's really good to have. Oh, God, stop.
Come on, read it.
Boo. Okay, this is what's written inside this card.
By us.
By Ellen and Kathy. Okay, we have a theme going here. It's really good to have you in our lives. We Swiss you the best year yet. Of Ellen and Kathy. Thank you. There better be a lot of cheese in here is what I'm hoping for.
Well.
What? There is. Oh.
So
Look, you know the key to my heart is cheese. I am Midwestern through and through. You cut me, I bleed Velveeta.
We know.
I love it.
And so I went to a cheese shop. There are not many of them around anymore.
Which one did you go
Augusta.
to? Augusta. Okay, cool.
In Lincoln Square. And
Oh
I tried to get some
my
stinky
goodness.
ones, and
I
I
love a
did try them,
stinky
except for that
cheese.
one that's prepackaged that I couldn't try.
This one, the queso de Valdio.
Amazing.
Oh, yes, it's good and stinky. Oh, my gosh, so much stinky cheese.
That one.
Yes, Bush Creek Reserve.
That's supposed to be a great one.
Oh, my God, it smells so much like foot right
Yes,
over
that's
here.
what you
right
want.
Now. That's
He
what
wants
I love.
that.
Oh, my gosh, thank
And there's
you.
one more there's a jam in
Thank you.
there.
There's a jam. Oh, a
Interesting.
cherry chai. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. I like consumables. At this point, we don't
That's
need
what
things
I do.
that we're going to just put on a shelf. We don't have any shelves.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And thank you to Sweetie out there who's on the road. I don't know if
She's
she
on
can
the
hear.
road. She's listening. She's on the road.
Oh, thank you.
Driving
thank
in
you,
the rain.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We love you. We wish you many
Oh
more
my gosh,
birthdays.
thank you. That's going to make me cry, which is a surprise to nobody.
So, happy birthday.
Thank you. I am exhausted. The holiday season is just exhausting. I had things like on the 24th, 25th, 26th. I had to work on the 27th. Yesterday was my birthday. We've got guests coming in tomorrow who are staying through Friday. It's just going to be like I'm pooped.
Hide the good cheese from
No,
them.
I'm going to put the good cheese out.
Yeah.
I'll put the good cheese out for them. Thank you so much.
You're
You just
welcome.
cut down a little bit of mine. This would be great for a little New Year's
New
thing.
Year's, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I am just like, I am pooped. This weather out there is just so like gray and whatever.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
I have no plans after tonight. I mean, we've had so many plans. I went to a show at Martyrs on Friday night. We stayed home last night because Kathy literally was up at 5 and out the door by 6 this morning because she wanted to get there and
and have plenty of time and everything.
Rain, driving in the rain 500 miles isn't pleasant. But the only thing I do have is I am invited to a New Year's party. It is across the street from my house.
Great.
It is my gay neighbor. He's gay. He's Greek. What's not
You got
to
a gay
like?
Greek neighbor going on there.
He's,
Amazing.
And his husband, Mauricio, they're lovely guys, and they're having a party. And it's Venetian themed because they were in Venice having a great time a couple months ago. So I got an interesting new mask. I got a mask.
Wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful. Are you going to have like a big Venetian gown? You should have like a gown.
I have.
Do you have a dress?
Oh yeah, I wear dresses.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I wear dresses to formal things.
All right.
Yeah, and in the summer
I always see
wear.
you like in like. Oh yeah, I think I've seen.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
I don't
think
wear
I've
them.
ever seen you.
I do not wear them here because I'm cold. Because it's always cold in here.
You are cold, yes.
I get cold in the air conditioning, and my legs get cold, and I'm unhappy. So I want to be happy.
I want you to be
Kathy
happy,
got
too.
me a sweatshirt this summer that says "I'm cold," and I walk around. Luckily the weather's been so great. I've been on my walks. I put I layer and I put that big sweatshirt over. It's from that obvious T-shirt shop that comes up with all the fun Cubs sayings and people pass me and they smile, they laugh. So you get a laugh out of people. And then someone says, "Are you really?" It's unseasonably warm. And I go, "No, not today," but
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm going to go across the street. I have this coat that my dearly departed friend Gail, her husband so kindly invited her girlfriends to come and raid her closet that was the size of this studio.
Oh my goodness.
Not exaggerating. And I got this full length kind of coat that's kind of silk and colorful, and I may be wearing that on top of something
wonderful.
Yeah, so
that'll be wonderful. Something joyful that you can help, and it was a fond memory of your friend, keeping that spirit alive.
Yes, absolutely, keeping her spirit alive. How about you? What are you doing for New Year's?
Well, I don't know about that. Well, look, my holidays were weird. Unfortunately. One of my friend's husbands passed away on Christmas Eve.
That is
they found Chuck Spencer. He was the big person in the Chicago theater world. He used to be the artistic director of Raven Theater Company. He was a professor at Roosevelt University. He fell down some stairs in his basement and hit his head and was done.
That's how people die.
Yeah.
It happens. It seems like crazy, but here's a perfectly healthy man that just
it was
took a bad step.
I was in shock for like most of the Christmas Eve day.
Sure.
It was just like
horrible
bananas to even think about
sorry
that.
For his wife
yes,
and family.
I know. No, sending love out there to his wife Millie. I love her. I've known her since she was in my very first professional show in Chicago 30 years ago.
You guys go way back.
Yeah, so we go way back. So it was just kind of a weird start to the holiday, but we were able to be with. Sometimes I just hate calling it chosen family because right now it just feels like family. It's just I was with I called it framily. Was able to be with my family on Christmas Eve. We ended up rallying and having a wonderful time. And, we spent Christmas Day together. And then on Boxing Day, I went out to my nephew and his wife's house in Des Plaines. And we kind of had a Boxing Day thing. My sister and her husband came in from Iowa. My niece and her family came down from Wisconsin. I have cousins that live literally like 2 miles from me.
Yeah,
on Peterson, and I never see them except
Are
I'm
they
like
first cousins?
I've got my first cousins there, and then her kids.
Oh, okay.
And they are the most delightful, weird family.
So you got to see them too?
I got to see 3 of them. I got to see 3 of the kids. And they all came, and and Katie's parents and sister were there as well. We were with a ton of dogs. I was covered in dog slobber by the time I left. We got a mastiff, we had a pitty, some sort of herding dog situation. There was a labradoodle. And 2 Frenchies. It was just dogs everywhere. There were babies. It was family time. My nephew and his wife Jared and Katie were just like cool as a cucumber. I don't know how they did it because they fed us all. They smoked turkeys and they made everything. They set this beautiful table in their house and got creative with how to do, because you had to move all the furniture around to fit that many people in.
And they managed to fit everybody in.
Yeah, it was. And
how many people was it?
Oh gosh, I couldn't do the math, but it's got to be like 18 maybe. I think it was a lot of people, and it was the first time they were hosting and like doing something big like that since they were married last year. So it was just kind of like, this sort of rite of passage, and it was really, really wonderful. And I got to see my sister, who we know is like my favorite person on the planet. Yeah. Love her, love her, love her. So we just had a really wonderful.
Sounds fabulous. It was perfect.
It was really perfect. And actually, when we were driving home, Jerry was like, today was just the easiest, and it just felt like the holidays. It just felt like
that's how it should feel.
Yeah,
not a lot of stress and anxiety, but just some nice, fun kids and dogs and good food and
yeah,
that's how they should be. They don't always turn out that way. But
they don't. But I'm fortunate enough that usually when my family gets together, it's pretty calm.
Yeah, ours was, I'll give you more of our Christmas on the break. I won't do it on the air.
Okay.
Share some of our Christmas story. No, it was all fine. It was good. We went to my brother's and we had a nice time.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great just to be around. It's so interesting because I remember when I came out to my sister and her family, and it was back in the day. It was like, I think 95 is when I came out. And I was really, really, really nervous about it, especially because of her husband, who's conservative. He is, he's Republican. He has not voted for Ding Dong. But I was really nervous that they would not let me see their
Right.
kids.
Right, of course.
You know, they had
They don't
two
know
kids.
how they're
and
going to take it.
Didn't know how everything was going to take it. And, you know, we went through a couple of bumpy years and everything. But now just sitting here, like, we were all together. And here I am with my great niece and great nephew. And they're just like climbing all over Jerry. And like the first thing that happened when we walked in, my little baby great niece, the one who had the helmet on, she just looked at him and just reached out to him, and they like, here, take the baby, you know, and like just to have that sort of feeling of that
it's a good feeling.
just like being we're a part of the family. There's no issues.
As you should be.
What's going on? Yeah, but it was. I always reflect back on that journey because I was really scared. You know, when I was in my 20s.
I understand. Yeah, it's tough because you don't know how people are doing. And you know, as I found when I came out, I was the one that was the most concerned. Everybody else like, oh well, but, you know, everybody was cool about it, but I had a lot of built up anxiety over it. And you find that mostly the people that love you, whether they get it right away and are cool or it takes them a little time, those that truly love you come around every single time.
Yeah, 100%. And it just really was a wonderful day. Me and baby James, he had this weird game where we had to go into this guest room and just like pretend that we were asleep, and somebody came in, and then we were dragons and we burned the person to death. We did that for a good
what good
30
uncles
minutes.
you are. I wouldn't have lasted 2 minutes on that game.
Lord, we just kept going and going. We were burning. Everybody had to take
Burning
turns.
in hell.
Yeah. No, we were burning in hell.
We were burning in hell.
No, we were just burning our friends
on
and
Christmas.
family. Our imaginary dragon breath that was coming down on everybody. It was just fun. It was just so wonderful.
What kids fun. You know, you're playing on their level. So
we had a good time.
Good.
Finally, somebody I can communicate with.
There you go.
know,
Someone gets you.
Yeah, but also, do you know what they did the day after?
What?
They were like. So I'm like, so what are your plans? I wish I could hang out, but I have to work the next day. And they're like, well, the next day we're going to go to Fry the Coop. I'm like, what? That's amazing. Well, you should make sure that you listen to the show this Sunday, because you know what we're doing right now?
What?
We're going to give away prizes to Fry the Coop. In case you don't know, Fry the Coop is the destination for hot chicken in Chicagoland, giving a Southern original, a Midwest touch, whether you want heat or no heat. Featuring chicken sandwiches, tenders, chicken and waffles, and now nuggets, all delivering happiness in each crunchy bite, proudly not using seed oils, frying all of their menu items in 100% what? Beef tallow. Yes! Stop by the Fry the Coop today at one of its many locations from Oak Lawn, Chicago, Elmhurst, Darien, Prospect Heights, Tinley Park, and Bolingbrook. You can have no heat, mild, medium, hot, or crazy insanity. I do not recommend crazy insanity because that's just crazy insanity.
That's too much.
It's a lot.
For me.
I can
for
do the
others,
hot.
I'm sure it's
For
fine.
others, it's okay. But even then, it makes the top of my head sweat a little bit. And to celebrate the holidays, Fry the Coop gave WCPT $25 gift cards as our little gift to you. So caller number 3, you will get a $25 gift card to Fry the Coop. Just give us a call, 773-763-9278. That number again is 773-763-9278. Just a reminder, contests running on WCPT 820 are open to listeners 18 or older and residents of the greater Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana area. 1 entry per person, 1 winner per household. Void where prohibited by law. Listeners may only win or qualify to win once every 30 days. Complete rules are available on our website at WCPT820.com by clicking the contest tab. So again, caller number 3 to 773-763-9278 will win a $25 gift card to Fry the Coop. Ringing the new year with some hot chicken. That's what I say.
Why not? We're
going to take a quick break, and when we come back, there's more Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
I'm Honey West. Welcome to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller, just rolling along on this dreary day. I just got a little bit, I'm a little congested.
I can tell.
Well, yeah, so yesterday was my birthday.
Yes, it was. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Had a lovely day. I actually was able to,
It was a nice day for a birthday, and the sun even came out.
The sun came out just for me. It was wonderful.
Just for you in your honor.
And I spent the day, I made turkey stock because I stole that carcass from my nephew.
I'm sure they're happy to
I'm
give
like,
it to
can
you.
I have that? And they're like, yeah, take it. So, I made turkey stock yesterday, kind of went around and trying to like prepare for the incoming guests that we've got this
What
week.
will you do with that turkey stock?
My favorite thing to do with it is I make this lentil and sausage kale soup.
Oh, I've made one of those. So, yeah, but
It's got this smoke because it was a smoked turkey.
Yeah.
So the stock is smoked. I added a ham hock in there too. So it makes things really, really just like rich and unctuous. I love it.
Nice.
So did that, and then we had two couples. Our friends Amy and Kiki and our friends Katie and Andrew. We went to Nobody's Darling, which I hadn't been to in a hot minute. So they've taken over the space next door.
I heard they did.
So they've expanded. It was the ideal place to go. We went for a cocktail before going to dinner. We had it was so wonderful. Like, it feels like a grown folks bar. Like if you want to go out and be social and everything, but you don't need the or like
or TV's blaring
or TV's going on or whatever it is. It just was like, it was so lovely, and it's a Black-owned, queer-owned business. The cocktails were so good, and their non-alcoholic program is
it? Yeah, I don't go to bars that much because I don't drink, but I keep remembering, I could go have a fancy sugary, drink for $10 too if I wanted.
Right.
But I don't do it very often.
Yeah.
Just give me a club soda for $2, please. Thanks very much.
Because usually like the non-alcoholic drinks are like usually just so sweet.
They are.
These were so good. There's a reason why they are James Beard nominated.
I got to get over there because I know
Renata and Angela.
And are those the two owners?
Yeah.
But I know one of their spouses,
right.
Sophia, who's Greek.
Yeah, I know. You know it's always the Greek connection. I believe it's Angela's spouse.
Angela's spouse,
yes. But I recommend, if you are looking for a wonderful place that's on the north side.
Check it out. Support this women queer-owned business.
Yes. So, again, it's Nobody's Darling. It's on Balmoral and Ravenswood.
Yeah, it's a great little spot.
We had a lovely time. We went and had a mediocre dinner.
Where?
Which you know where.
Was I right?
You're right. And
I tried to warn him because things have gone downhill at a certain Andersonville restaurant.
I know. And I walked in and my friend is the new owner. I didn't know. Clearly not a good friend. But I'm like,
someone
wow.
you know.
Yeah. So
we'll talk about that
We'll talk about that during the break. But then we went, and we had, we actually had a lovely time together.
Yeah, it's still good to be together.
Yeah,
I'm sure
it was
it was
great
fun.
to be together.
It's a nice atmosphere over there.
And we had some, we had some fine food. It was okay. But also, do you ever find it hard going out to eat when you're such a good cook?
Yes.
And then you're like, okay, I could have done this. And not
we went out
$38 for that.
Christmas Eve, we went to a lettuce restaurant called Il Porcellini. I'd never heard of it before. They try to conjure up like an old Italian, like La Scarola. It's got a lot of pictures on the walls. It's casual kind of. And the food was good, but on Christmas Eve, it was packed, of course, and we had a reservation. I would love to hear some holiday music. Is that asking a lot?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I think so, because people, especially in a restaurant, people are going to chill out and relax. Most places have been inundated. Like, people have been, fortunately, where I work, there was no Christmas music. We played Christmas music one day, and that was for 2 hours, and that's it. And I think a lot of people, because many people don't celebrate Christmas.
Well, I know, but I have some of my Jewish friends, as you know, are the biggest fans of Christmas music and writers of Christmas music.
Yeah.
So I just think there's songs. It didn't feel. It didn't feel like it was Christmas Eve. It felt like it was a nice downtown dinner. Sometimes we've been to restaurants, different ones that I think are more. I like Lattice Entertaining, of course. They have great quality, but more independently owned restaurants where they'll give you here's a glass of prosecco, Happy Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
There's none of that. I think it was still a fine meal. It was good for the most part. There was one dish that was off. The tuna crudo with blood orange was just.
You're calling them out, aren't you?
I'm calling them out, the tuna crudo and blood orange. It was tasteless and, blah, blah, blah. Everything else was good. But I think in the future, we're going to look for independently owned. They're harder to find open on Christmas Eve because families that own restaurants want to be.
We're with their family.
But I want to be in a family-owned restaurant that that's going to have a little more of a Christmas vibe. So that's my
right on
for next time.
Okay,
but we're still, we used to go downtown on Christmas Eve. This has been our tradition for many years, and it was absolutely dead. Now, I think, and someone asked me, why do you think that is? I think less people are religious. I think less people go to church. I think more people are not cooking. All the restaurants were bustling downtown.
Oh, wonderful.
Christmas Eve, yeah.
All right.
I kind of like that night because it's quiet, though. It's like one of the few nights when
when we were going over to our friend's house, there's nobody.
Our neighborhood was quiet.
It was very quiet.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Which I love.
Yeah.
It's special to have one night of let's put the commercialism aside and just take in the holiday and be with family and friends.
Yeah, so I was taking in family and friends last night, and then we kind of rallied and we had a fire pit last night because it was warm.
I love
So we
that.
sat outside, but got hit with a lot of firewood smoke. You know what I mean? It's just ugh. So that's why
That's where you're a little congested.
I'm a little congested. Yeah.
It's a small price to pay for a fire pit in December.
I know it was fabulous.
I love it.
We'll do fire pits in January too because I'm
up for that too.
Let's
if the weather cooperates.
Bundle up.
During COVID, I was looking at my memories 4 years ago. 2-3 days before Christmas, we were sitting around a fire pit playing guitar with two of my neighbors. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't do that now, of course, because we don't have to.
Right.
It forced you to do things.
I don't know. There's still some things that I think were.
Well, of course, there's always some silver linings, right?
I know.
If you look hard enough. Yeah.
Yep. So it was a lovely time. I now have a little bit of a congestion going on thanks to sitting outside.
Now you need a sauna. You need the opposite of a fire pit.
I need a schwitz.
Breathe in, schwitz or steam.
That'd be really good right there. Anyway, we're all schwitzing right now because it is the end of the year.
Yeah.
Lord only knows what's happening coming up.
And even she's not sure.
We got to hold onto your butts because it's going to be a weird ride. And it was a weird week too. All this infighting that's happening over there, and I don't get it. I don't get it, but this whole...
Is it any surprise? I mean, you've got a bunch of egos and oligarchs and zillionaires that are trying to get their agenda out there and say they care about the working people. Yeah, right. Good luck.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck, folk.
I know. I don't. Yeah. It's really interesting just kind of watching them kind of already go after each other. What's going to happen?
I think
at the end of January,
they're the only ones that can save themselves save us from themselves. I mean, we can't do much except watch, really.
Yeah.
And keep our eye on the prize, which is in 2 years. There's a lot of races up in 2 years, so let's just keep focused. Try not to let it get you down. Be as positive as you can, and hope that. What goes up must go down. What went down, hopefully, will go up. I'm thinking we're going to make a big comeback in 2 years when people wake up. They're going to wake up when they see what kind of dysfunction we have settled into here, or going to be settling into.
We'll see. Or maybe Vivek Ramaswamy saying it's the problem with the culture, with the American culture, and people are stupid.
They need to be spent. He did have a point, I will say, about kids. Our culture has slipped when it comes to academics as far as young people.
Yes, well, because they keep taking away money to fund education.
Yes.
It's like that's...
And the priorities, I mean, I like sports as much as anybody, but I think the priorities in this country are really kind of screwy in a lot of ways when it comes to kids and school. Mm-hmm. But that's a whole nother show.
Well, no, that could be this show and everything. I mean, stuff is just going down and it's really, really weird. They're claiming that, education is bad. We need to, focus on people who are well educated. So let's bring in these people on those visas and everything. And it's like, well, no, why don't we just invest in what happens in America? Invest in our children in the future and get them educated.
That's what other countries do that have these kids that are focused and Damn, it's going to be an
I
interesting.
know. I am firmly in my. It was my birthday. I am now firmly ensconced in my get off of my lawn era. I'm like, young people, you need to read a book. Put the phone down.
Put the phone down.
Like, let's blah blah blah. Like, I'm way into that right now. And it's
Anybody
awful.
that's got young kids in their lives, that's all they want to do.
I know.
Of course, and I'm on mine quite a bit too, but I'm not playing games, but maybe I should.
Maybe you
that's
should.
better.
That's what I do. I'll play a game. It's always good. Why don't we go to the phones right now and talk to Steve? Welcome. You're on Out Chicago. Hello, Steve. Well, I think we might have lost him. We have a little technical difficulties going on right there. Yeah, this was like it was a really weird year.
Yes.
We have a man who was found guilty on 34 felony accounts, who is now going to be president.
Twice impeached.
Who is selling us gold tennis shoes,
Watches.
a Swiss watch that's made in, I think, Montana.
I'm sure.
A Bible.
A Bible.
Yeah, he's selling the Bible.
His autograph
He's
on it.
selling the Bible with the Lee Greenwood lyrics in
Yeah.
there too. If that doesn't bring up a big old red flag.
Talk
for
about
folks.
fleeing the American people.
Yeah, what do we got? Guitars? Don't we have some sort of trading card?
Oh,
There's
yeah,
some
there's
sort of
trading
digital
cards of him
thing.
as a superhuman.
Yeah, it's odd. And we had 107 days of hope. We had 107 days of hope with the Kamala Harris,
so hopeful.
Tim Walz moment. I don't want to bring everybody down, but like that, we had those 2 months of hope. That was great. But it's been so weird. It's been a weird year. Boeing kept having planes getting ripped in holes.
Yeah,
and,
well, guess what? That plane crash that happened yesterday was another Boeing plane.
Oh gosh, I didn't pay attention
In
to
South
the news.
Korea.
Yeah,
there was a Boeing plane.
I mean, things are what's going on with that over there? There's.
Yeah, I wonder if Trump. Obviously, one of the reasons he's one of these guys that just likes to win for the sake of winning. But once he gets there, he really doesn't give a rat's behind about the actual job. And he knew that if he won, he would get to skate on all of the different indictments that he has. I'm wondering how into it he's really going to be, knowing that he's a lame duck president. How, what? Because his whole thing the last time he ran was. He announced his candidacy for the next the day after the inauguration. I'm wondering.
Didn't it happen in the inauguration?
Maybe it was in the inauguration. I thought it was the next day, but within 24 hours of being inaugurated, he announced his campaign to run in 2020. So. I just I wonder how into it, how his head, his crazy head, how into the game it's going to be. And then it's going to be a lot of chaos because all of his people do not get along. The people that he's put in these positions that may or may not be voted on and accepted and by the Congress. Who knows? I just think it looks kind of disjointed and kind of a mess, but let's let them figure it out because that's what the people wanted.
Yeah.
That's what the American people voted for.
We will see. We will see.
Is Steve back?
Steve is back. Yeah, let's check in with Steve real quick. Hey, Steve, welcome. You're on Out Chicago.
Hello. Yes, sorry I lost you guys. I was getting in the car and just happened to be a bad transition there.
It's all good.
Thank you. I wanted to raise a couple of points. And one, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, the holidays for me is more tiresome given that it's supposed to be a time off, a holiday, than actual work is because of everything involved. This year, my girlfriend who does wedding planning, she said, let's just forget it. She booked the entire family rooms at the Drake on the 24th for $99 a night because she's a wedding planner and they give her a big discount. And who's staying at a hotel on the 24th in downtown Chicago? So, and then they just catered everything, and that's it. You go home. There's no mess to clean up. There's nobody staying at your house. I mean, it's a great idea.
It sounds magical because my house right now is a total disaster. Christmas has exploded all over my house. Ugh. I get it, Steve. I get it.
And beyond that, I mean, I don't want to bring anyone down. I mean, the reality is that because January is around the corner, the House of Representatives is going to be seated in the next few days. Mm-hmm. So they're in a position to start making laws and passing legislation. And so that's the problem. I know usually we like to take a break and we think about, okay, we'll worry about the country after the inauguration. But that's different because Trump is tapping the few people who've been elected to a term in Congress to be part of the administration, which means that they then have to resign their seat, and that seat doesn't get filled. So literally, the Republicans have several seat advantage for a few weeks. And after that, they have a one-seat advantage. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, there's the congresswoman in Texas who's basically in a senility home because that's how far she's gone off the deep end. Her own family acknowledges this. So they're going to have a special election on that. So in other words, if somebody has the flu or misses a flight, that's it. That's the one vote that they needed. They'll have because that's the advantage that they'll have is one vote.
Yep.
So you've got to turn out. You've got to call. You've got to text. You've got to do everything you can. Get in touch with your congressman. Make sure everybody's there on January 2nd because I'm sorry, folks, we don't get a break this time around.
There you go. True words. True words, Steve. Thank you so much.
Happy New Year, Steve.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a happy New Year. Thank you for giving us a call. Actually, we should probably take a break. And when we come back, there is more Out Chicago right after this.
This is William Lindsay Cochran from the group Great Moments in Vinyl. You're listening to Out Chicago at WCPT.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here and Ellen Miller rolling along. Hey, it's the end of the year. It's our last show of 2024. We thought we would look back on some of our favorite conversations that we had. And this spring, Chicago theater goers were lucky enough to get a sneak peek at the new musical, Death Becomes Her. So good.
Yep.
And I've heard it's only gotten better now that it's moved to Broadway.
Yeah.
They've made because it was
they
in
needed
their
to make a few things.
It was in their out of town tryouts, but even
that's what they come to Chicago
they
for.
Come to Chicago.
Tune it up, baby. Get it ready.
To get it ready, and also because Chicago theater audiences are smart and savvy, and we know that works, that doesn't work. There we go. Mm-hmm. Here we are, and we were lucky enough to chat with one of the stars of Death Becomes Her, now on Broadway, Michelle Williams, and here is our conversation.
Welcome back. I'm Paul Oakley-Stovall. You're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, rolling along. And by the way, Paul Oakley-Stovall, he directed that production of Gods and Monsters.
Gods and Monsters, yeah.
And it's getting raves. It's getting raves. So that's another thing you can do on this rainy day. Go support Chicago theater.
Absolutely.
There you are. And speaking of Chicago theater, pinch me. We had the opportunity to speak to a pop legend, Michelle Williams, earlier this week. Delightful, wonderful. We talk about Death Becomes Her, and here is our conversation. The drop-dead hilarious new musical comedy, Death Becomes Her, is in Chicago before it heads to Broadway later this year. Based on the beloved 1992 movie, it follows two frenemies on their quest for youth, beauty, and immortality with the help of a magic elixir. And joining us now is one of the stars of Death Becomes Her and the purveyor of the magic potion itself, Grammy Award winner Michelle Williams.
Welcome.
Hey. Thank you so much.
Oh,
you do the intros every night for the show.
Done and
He's
done.
available.
I'm available. I will be there.
He'll make himself available.
Girl, congratulations. Ellen and I both saw the show on opening night.
Yep.
Holy shnikes, is this a fabulous show? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I am just, first of all, Chicago is just I hope people put some respect on Chicago's name as far as the theater community is concerned. So if anybody has a show that you've got to do, Chicago, Chicago just respects theater.
Yeah.
And so I remember years ago working on The Color Purple here and doing The Color Purple at the Cadillac Palace. So I've got some great memories of theater here.
I'm sure. That's why they do so many pre-Broadway openings here, because our audiences, they respond. If it's good, they're going to let you know it's good. And if it ain't,
they're going to let us know.
Yeah. And they let you know for sure on Wednesday night. Or was that the night we were
No,
here?
we were there on Sunday.
Sunday night. The week's flown by. They let you know. You know a show is good when an intermission they're going crazy already and applauding right before,
Listen, I'm like, I'm hilarious with all the Sunday crowds, because I'm like, Sundays were the days we were supposed to go to church, and here y'all are laughing at all these jokes.
Yep.
And sometimes we're backstage like, folks need to go back and get baptized.
Yes, indeed.
Well, it's your fault because y'all ain't right up there.
Exactly. That Jennifer Samars.
Oh.
That Jennifer.
Wow.
Well, all of you are a bunch of just lunatics up there on that stage.
Yes.
And I am here for it. I'm eating it up with a spoon. It's so amazing. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied now because I'm just like, oh, it's you. So you play Viola Van Horn, who the character is based on Isabella Rossellini's character in the movie. First of all, before we get into your particular, I want to shout out to all four of you who are the stars of it.
Yeah.
Y'all have taken some really iconic roles and have them stay true to the original source, but you all have made them completely your own. How did you tackle this character?
Yeah. So of course I've been familiar with the movie, and when I got the opportunity to do this role on Broadway, I went ahead and looked at the movie again one more time. And I felt that, man, some of the choices that I had made, Isabella, she had done in the movie. So I was like, okay, my instincts here are correct. So I watched it one time. And then I think the energy that Chris, Megan, Jennifer, what they do with each other. First of all, they're a master class for me every single day. Every day in rehearsal, it was like a master class.
Yeah.
But my journey was literally I just watched it one time and just kind of to see, what resonated with me. And it's a chill role for me. I have to exert a lot of, especially that first number, I'm exerting a lot of energy, but not necessarily in choreography and all that stuff, but just in the intensity of the delivery of the music and the monologue. But so, that was my journey, really. And looking at another particular artist that I love dearly, Shirley Bassey.
Oh, thank you. I was going to say there was a little sassy Bassey coming through your performance there.
Hey, yes. So that's my secret that I'll give away. I think that I think folks should, look at the blueprints that have gone before them.
Yeah. And then you gleaned, like you were saying, like your instincts were correct. You were like, oh yes, this is what I'm doing, and kind of moving forward. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time that you are originating a role for Broadway. Is that right?
Correct.
What is that like?
Correct. It is a joy. It's a dream come true. I've spoken this a long time. Year after year after year, but this was not on my vision board for this year, I'll tell you that.
Who knew?
But it is something that I've spoken throughout the years, and it's come true. So I live by the power of words, and I'm like, wow, I've been speaking that I've wanted to originate a role on Broadway a long time. This is my 5th Broadway show, but like you said, my first originating role.
Yeah.
Michelle, tell us a little bit, it's kind of on the same theme, but tell us a little bit about the process of preparing a show that is going to be premiering on Broadway? Because you are originating, I'm sure there's changes and challenges. How do you meet those challenges, and how was that process for you?
Well, from the time I stepped foot in New York for rehearsals, you know, a nip here, tuck there, change here, it just, you know, just changes.
Yeah.
But there were subtle changes, or some scenes had to be maybe completely rewritten if they felt like, oh, this fell a little flatter, or no. So that's what the previews were for, too. So the audience April 30th, the show that they saw April 30th is not the show that you're seeing today.
Right.
You know, certain things weren't available, certain things weren't ready, and now the show is locked. And so
locked and loaded.
So we're here till we're locked and loaded here till June 2nd.
Yeah.
So I hope folks and I hope folks that came to see it during the preview maybe come back and check it out. You know, there are a few surprises in there.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing that I don't think people realize is when you do these out-of-town tryouts and you have these previews, the show is still, like, going through major changes. So, you know, you're rehearsing during the day and then putting in new songs, new whatever during the day and then performing them that night. Yeah.
I know.
Were you just pooped? I mean, like, I was exhausted watching the show. Like, just watching the show, I'm like, oh, my gosh. And, like, I can only imagine what the rehearsal process until opening, because now that it's locked, you get, oh good, my days are free now. Breathe.
Oh yeah, I can breathe. My days are free. I can eat breakfast and or lunch, you know, on the patio now, and just, you know, be free. And so it's hard work up there. That's why I think the art needs to continue to be respected, because it's just not people up there that put on some cute lipstick and a sexy one piece. It's hard work, and some folks have been workshopping this show since last year. The producers of this show have been working on this for years. You know, and so it's a lot. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work.
You know, Michelle, speaking of hard work, you've been very public about some of your mental health struggles, and I was wondering why you felt it was so important to talk about it publicly.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's a good question. Actually, when I was promoting the musical Fela back in 2013, I was doing an interview with a journalist, and it was so conversational. He disarmed me really well, and somehow we got to talking about things, and I can't even tell you how depression came up. And I said, hey, you know, that's been a struggle of mine as well. And so I just didn't think it would make that part of the interview, because it was supposed to be a print article. So I'm like, oh, that's going to be edited out. That's not even going to make the interview.
Right.
Well, it did. And that's how it became public. And so many people started thanking me for sharing my story, because it gave them the courage to get the help they needed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Even recently, I spoke for some folks in the military, and the next day someone went and got themselves treatment because for the past 6 months they didn't know if they wanted to live or not. So I will always advocate. I will always tell my story for those reasons alone, too.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
well, and it's important.
So important.
You know, the more we talk about it, the less the stigma
it
exists around it. So thank you for doing that. You know, it's not easy, especially for somebody who is so well known, like yourself, to be like, hi, yes, I am a superstar, but I'm also vulnerable, and I'm a human.
You can make a difference. Yeah. So that's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, yeah, it's girl. I will watch you read the phone book. I watch you do anything, especially if you are in some of these costumes. I just have to ask you, as a performer who's very jealous of your opening and of your first entrance. I mean, you kick off the show. You rise up out of the stage looking flawless. And then you sing from the bottom of your toes. What is, I mean, look, like, talking about, like, words are power. You are envisioning this. You are originating a role that's going to be heading to Broadway. You kick off the show in a way where it's just like, and she rises from the depths. She looks amazing. She's going to sing her face off. What does that feel like as you are, as you start the show 8 shows a week?
Wow, Scott. First of all, you're hilarious. I need you to do that.
I'm a truth teller is what I am.
He's a professional. Comedian.
I have been, as the kids say, I've been gooped and gagged ever since I saw the show on Sunday. I have sent so many people, and literally, like, you just rise up. Your mere presence there is like, gets a standing ovation.
Thank you, and Ellen, so much. This is so much fun. It's really fun being down there.
Yeah.
That's actually where I gauge what kind of audience we have.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I gauge. Now, I won't give it all away, but that's where I gauge what kind of audience we got. People don't know when I'm down there for a few minutes, just listening, and everybody's talking and all of that good stuff.
Right.
But that's where I gauge what kind of audience it's going to be.
How do you know if it's going to be a good audience? Do you know? Or is it just that je ne sais quoi?
I know it's going to be a great audience by the volume. How everybody's just speaking. I know what kind of show it's going to be by. See, I said I wasn't going to give my secret away. I also know when the lights kind of get a little lower. Mm-hmm. And that crowd goes bonkers. I'm like, okay, they're about to be lit.
There we go.
Well, they were lit on Sunday night because everybody that we know, on my friends that have saw previews, were just gushing on Facebook and on Instagram. So there was a lot of anticipation, but the payoff was there.
Yes, that's the anticipation. And it was like, I'm down in there, and I'm like, okay, this crowd is so excited. And I'm so confident in the entire cast that we deliver, and we serve that anticipation. Because everybody in this show, everybody, I mean, it's its own show backstage with how everybody is maneuvering and keeping us safe, and the crew are just absolutely beautiful. We have a blast. It's from everybody that's seen on stage to the folks that are backstage wearing all black, making sure the stage is running smoothly. So
you can tell. You can feel it.
It's great.
Yeah.
You can feel the joy just coming right across the stage lights. I do have to, I know our time is wrapping up, but I would be remiss if I did not pass on a compliment from my husband, who is obsessed with We Break the Dawn. Just to let you.
Oh, thank you.
And I have to ask, I know you're a little busy right now, but will we be getting some more Michelle Williams music?
I really hope so.
Yes, me too.
So. Yeah, I don't want to force anything. I got in the studio in July of last year, just kind of playing around, and I'm like, you know what? We may have something here.
All right.
So we'll see.
All right.
Excellent.
Well,
Well,
like I said, you are busy right now. So in the meantime, you need to focus all of your attention on this glorious show. Death Becomes Her is playing through June 2nd at the Cadillac Palace Theater. You'll be dying if you miss it. See what I did there? Michelle Williams, congratulations on a beautiful performance in a hilarious show. And thank you so much for taking time out to join us today.
Thank you, Michelle. It's great to meet you.
And I'm still gooped and gagged over it, and we've got to take a break. But there's more Out Chicago right after this, so stick around.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And welcome back to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, rolling along.
Yes, we are.
Ellen Miller just unwrapped this delicious blood orange buttermilk cake, which we are not eating in the studio.
No, we're not. We're just looking at it right now.
We're looking at it and just looking at how beautiful. And don't make that sound. That sound is horrible.
ASMR.
ASMR. Stop. No, that really grosses me out. No, stop. It's true. Look, here's the thing. That's what I hate about like those cooking videos. Like the ASMR cooking videos. That is a trend that we need to stop in 2025.
So yeah, I listen. When I was kicked off, I got hacked on Facebook last year at this time. I was thrown into the arms of TikTok because I needed to look at some damn thing on my phone, and I'm watching these with the nails.
Yeah.
And the nails and all that stuff. I'm looking at it like a car accident. I'm like, I can't believe there's this many of these people
love it.
that are doing this.
People love it. Did you see any of the pickles?
Like this.
Did you stop? That's so gross. That is the perfect example. People always say they hate the word moist, but moist is a good word because you want a moist cake. You want a moist whatever. Like moist is good. They hate the sound of moist, which is what that was that you were making. And oh God, I really can't.
I'll try not to do it again, but it's
please
so fun.
Please don't.
Okay. Anyway,
where Devin went. But yeah, where was I going with that? You totally threw me off my game with that sound.
We were talking about eating in the studio, which we're not doing.
Which we're not doing.
Because of the buttermilk cake.
The
secret to... I realized I have some recipes that call for like a tablespoon of buttermilk, and I found that you can buy powdered buttermilk to always have in your refrigerator, and you reconstitute it with water. They actually sell it at Jewel.
What?
And so who often has a buttermilk to make a recipe on the spur of the moment, like I did this last night. And we got a friend sent me these blood oranges as a gift, and they were supposed to be Meyer lemons and navel oranges. And I'm like, I got to do something with this. And I found this recipe. I go, but I do have buttermilk because I've got the powdered buttermilk. It's a great thing to keep, and it keeps in the fridge like for a long time.
You have to keep it in the fridge, though.
They want you to, they ask you to keep it in a cool place is best. Okay. Yeah, but it's just a powder.
Good to know.
That's a little
really good to know.
It's holiday, so we're not doing the heavy stuff. We're talking baking and recipes in between the heavy stuff.
I know, in between them. Well, actually, today we are looking back at some of our big conversations that we had in 2024. It was an embarrassment of riches here in Chicago. It was like
we were very
fortunate. Had a lot of lovely people coming on, but we also, we are all girding our loins for what's coming up in the next year. We don't know what's happening. We're trying not to panic. We are just going to be very, very diligent and keep paying attention.
Yes.
And so there are we want to play a couple of conversations that we had with some folks this year. Like I said, we don't really know what's going on.
Nobody does.
Before I do this, and before we introduce this, I want to give away prizes. Let's give away prizes.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's much better. Because you know what? Today is a great day not only to listen to radio, but it's also a really great day to eat some hot chicken.
Oh yeah.
Who doesn't love hot chicken?
Especially
when it's fried in beef tallow. Oh, Fry the Coop. Fry the Coop is amazing. It is the destination for hot chicken sandwich in Chicago. They are giving a Southern original, a Midwest touch, whether you want heat or no heat, featuring chicken sandwiches, tenders, chicken and waffles, and now nuggets. Come on!
Ooh, I love a good
nuggets. All delivering happiness in each crunchy bite, proudly not using seed oils, frying all of their menu items in 100% what? Beef tallow. ASMR style.
It does make a good French fry.
It does, and it makes a good chicken.
Duck fry, duck fat and beef fat.
I know. I got some duck fat in my fridge right now. There we are. Where did I go? There, I've been seeing you can stop by Fry the Coop today at one of its many locations from Oak Lawn, Chicago, Elmhurst, Darien, Prospect Heights, Tinley Park, and Bolingbrook. You can have no heat, mild, medium, hot, or crazy insanity. And to celebrate the holidays, Fry the Coop gave WCPT $25 gift cards for us to give out as a little gift to you, like we did for Marty in the first hour. Marty from Chicago. So if you want to be like Marty, give us a call at 773-763-9278. Caller number 2. You can be like Marty and get a $25 gift card to fry the coop.
Nice.
773
I'll buy you a
763
sandwich and some
9278.
some beef fat fries.
Yeah.
Let us know how it is. I've never been, but I'd like to go.
Yeah, we can do that. It's right down the street.
Oh, good.
You know, hey, contests running on WCPT 820 are open to listeners 18 or older and residents of the greater Chicagoland, Northwestern Indiana area. 1 entry per person, 1 winner per household. So, Marty, sorry, all your friends, they're out. Or your family. Your friends could call, but not you, Marty. Void where prohibited by law. Listeners may only win or qualify to win once every 30 days. Complete rules are available on our website at WCPT820.com by clicking the contest tab. So caller number 2, you get a $25 gift card to Fry the Coop.
Oh, the phone lines are lighting up.
They are. They're lighting up. And while you are waiting to win your things, we're also waiting very patiently to see what's going to be happening with this new administration. Clearly, right now, I think it's pretty safe to say that they have transgender folks, particularly trans youth, firmly in their crosshairs. And I hate to use like a shooting analogy, but that's kind of what it feels like. The Supreme Court is already hearing arguments about health care for trans youth. And we, just a couple weeks ago, but I thought this was very, very important, that we just needed to kind of revisit this issue so that we remind us what we're facing as we're coming into the new year.
Very important.
We had the incredible people at Gender Cool Project joined us, and here's our conversation with them. The U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments in United States versus Scrimetti, a pivotal case that will shape the future of transgender rights nationwide. And joining us now are our good friends and total heroes and warriors, Jen Grosshandler and Gearah Goldstein from the Gender Cool Project. Jen and Gearah, welcome back.
Thank you, y'all.
Hi, Ellen. It's
Nice to have you both with
great
us.
to be here with y'all.
Always.
We're very excited. Well, first of all, before we get into like the heavy stuff, congratulations. Speaking of y'all were on the Kelly Clarkson show.
That is so
y'all,
cool.
Cool beans. What was that like?
Yeah, tell us about it.
You know, I think that that's a great example of how maybe the next few minutes will go in this conversation, because, you know, as we listen to and confront what's happening here in our country, and a lot of it is not good and is not great, we think about what it was like to be with one of the most prominent and loved vocalists and artists and daytime talk show host and on-air personality Kelly Clarkson. And I have to tell you that we have now seen that as a result of the Gender Cool Project being on the Kelly Clarkson show, we saw that about 70% of the folks who responded to that all across the country and across the globe have been nothing but positive. So literally, y'all, like 2/3, more than 2/3, I'm not good at math. I'm not good at math. But really most folks, and this goes back to something that we continue to say, most folks in this country do not want to get up in the business of how others like me and like Gearah and like our families, of how we live and how we raise our kids. So Kelly was remarkable. She's a super ally. She's freaking awesome. Her entire staff is awesome. And, you know, I think it's important for us to ground ourselves in some of these additional truths as we talk about the best path forward.
Yeah, and how did it happen? How did you get on the show?
Well, so it's all about networking, and it's all about building. And Gigi, jump in here. It's all about building the right footprint that the Gender Cool Project has, this organization, tiny but mighty, led by now 24 unbelievable young people called the Champions, who are just thriving, and they're just excellent in every possible way. And as young transgender and non-binary people, they're using their voice. So their voice reached Kelly herself. And Kelly said, I got to know about these people. I got to know about these young people, and I've got to have them on our show, because what they're doing is what I stand for.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think the way we're going to get through the next 4 years is live your values. And that is, it was so, I was like, just flabbergasted in the best way of just like, oh, good, what a great platform to have this story, this organization kind of get their story out. Gearah, can you, I know y'all are like on this show about, once a week, or it seems like, but Gearah, can you remind our listeners about the mission of the Gender Cool Project and how long it's been around and what y'all have been up to?
Yeah, well, actually, we're going on our 6.5 year here.
I can't believe that.
I think that the core of Gender Cool and what Jen was touching on in the Kelly Clarkson show and all of the awards and accolades that Gender Cool has garnered over the years is the direct result of one of our core missions, and that is to simply allow this conversation about trans youth to take place with trans youth present in that conversation. I mean, here we are today, Scott, and you've talked to some of our champions in the past. You've had Chazzy on the air. This is one of those conversations where, because it's so difficult, right? I mean, ultimately, we're talking about the Supreme Court actually being a bully against kids. And when that happens, that's not a place for the kids to be. That's a place for the grown-ups in the room to step forward and protect our children and have these conversations that no child in this country should be having to discuss the Supreme Court when it comes to who they are as people. So Gender Cool has always been on that mission, but I think it's important to know that Gender Cool does really put the voice of trans youth forward. And what we have learned, again, with the Kelly Clarkson as an example, is that when people simply get to meet these amazing young people, their opinions change because none of the things that they've been told to be afraid of are actually true. Yeah. And the only way to really see that is to meet these young people and have conversation with them in person. So, I say that's really what Gender Cool is all about.
Yeah, and you all do it so magnificently and passionately. I'm just a huge fan. I love it. But since you did bring up the Supreme Court case, let's talk about that. So, and I'm really happy that you all could be here because your organization, Gender Cool Project, really does focus on the welfare and health of trans youth, and this Tennessee bill is really focused on healthcare and just treatment for trans youth. So to refresh our listeners' little earbuds and ear brains, the law prohibits the use of puberty blockers and hormones for the treatment of gender dysphoria while allowing the same medications to be used for other conditions. What are your thoughts on this?
If you really zoom out, Scott and Ellen, about what's happening at the Supreme Court, I believe it's really a ban about nonconformity, right? Again, we're talking about young people that very few in this country have the gift of meeting and truly understand what the trans and non-binary life experience is all about. Most people are going on this information of fear, but I do want to highlight something that is so deeply embedded in what Jen and I do every day, and that is protecting trans youth and the welfare of these amazing young people. And I think it's important to realize that what is going on here is, in essence, a true fight and bully of young people who have no power in this country whatsoever, and they're at the level of the Supreme Court being debated about who gets to control their access to affirming care. And I'm shocked that we're at that point, but I do want to say for any parents of trans youth, non-binary kids, and trans and non-binary youth that may be listening, that there are hundreds of thousands of people that see you, that affirm you, that understand your experience and the difficulties that it is to live daily, especially when the government of your country is pushing back against you. And Jen and I love you dearly, the Gender Cool team, and Scott and Ellen. I know that, you're another example of people that just truly get it and understand. And I could go on and on, but I do want to just say that, it's so disheartening to think that, can we really put ourselves in the position of a trans young person in this country and understand what it must feel like for them to hear that the Supreme Court of this nation, the place that we look for the ultimate in protections and freedoms, is actually debating whether or not you have the right to exist and care for your own health? I mean, it's maybe, to use Hillary's words, deplorable. It's absolutely disgusting.
It's very fun. Like, I love that you brought up the whole idea. It's about nonconformity. It is about not fitting into a mold, not fitting into a nice, neat package. A lot of stuff. It's so funny. Maya Angelou keeps popping up in my world lately, and she keeps talking about how she had talked about. I think everybody needs to put everything down and go read all the Maya Angelou that you can, because the wisdom that comes from her is just incredible. And we was talking about how certainty is the thing that makes people cowards. She's talking about, like, if you can be certain and you're fine, but if you are uncertain, that if you do not know, that's what makes a cowardly action. You cannot stand up for something. I'm doing a horrible job explaining it. She tied it into Hamlet and the whole thing about how certainty makes us cowards of us all and make us rather bear the ills we know than the ones we know not of. I can pull out Shakespeare like that. But I
would agree. Jen and I, we talk all the time about what happens when you don't understand. And I think it's important to realize that, that's why it's so confusing for our community, LGBTQ people across the board, is that, the world does not need to understand the experiences that we have as LGBTQ plus people. They just need to accept us for who we are, right? Acceptance doesn't require understanding. And people do that every day. I mean, all of us, we can jump on an airplane and we accept that the pilot knows how to get us from point A to point B without us having to be like aerospace engineers and understanding how an airplane actually flies through the sky. We trust that their experience brings us to not having to understand it. And it's the same way with trans youth, with anybody in the LGBTQ plus life experience, that, if you're outside of that realm, that's okay. You don't have to understand it because it's almost impossible for you to unless you've been there. So let us be the people who can tell you that we're okay. We're going to get from point A to point B. We know exactly how to do it. And it's really not your business. So sit back, relax, enjoy the flight, and we hope you'll come back again, right? So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that is the thing that I keep coming back to. Like, how does this affect your life? How does this affect your life? Equal rights for others does not mean less rights for you. That is I know it's a T-shirt slogan, but it's so true.
Why judge? I mean, we see couples together. We don't know why they love each other, whether heterosexual couples, for example.
Right.
But it's not for. Right. We don't have to understand. All we have to understand is that if they're happy, that's really all we should be concerned about in any facet of life. But the key is this visibility, and I know that's the Kelly Clarkson, and I hope you get to do this on many platforms, because the only way to get through fear is visibility and just compassion. Because I think people's better angels will say, "Wow, that young person, that looks like a wonderful young person. I just don't know any trans people, and maybe I should rethink my prejudice, my fear over something that's just not familiar to me." And the more you can get out there, the better. And I would hope that Kelly Clarkson's audience is going to be one that does have a more of a variety than, let's say, the Views audience when it comes to different people that whose minds you can hopefully open and change. So kudos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we've already seen that, start to be put into action. And Ellen, I just want to double click on what you said about visibility because, I don't know if y'all saw, but the champions were on the cover of the Advocates magazine last month, the Out 100 Award. It's like a double issue.
Nice.
And so for the first time ever, young transgender people who aren't celebrities, who aren't, who don't have booking agents and whatnot, 6 of our young people were on the cover, and that's going to fast follow next week. We're going to be at the Out 100 Awards, and two of the champions are actually going to be student journalists, speaking with the Cynthia Erivos of the world and the Harper Steeles of the world and the Chapel Roans of the world around sending, what important messages can these incredible global leaders send to the hundreds of thousands of trans young people just like them. So, I wanted to tell you 2 last things because, we still continue to be glass half full. And I know that may be an odd thing to hear at this moment in time, but let me give you just a couple quick last examples. One is the young people with whom we've worked, Gearah mentioned, we're about to turn 7 years old, between 6.5 and 7. So the young people we started to work with 7 years ago, they are now, one of them is a month away from securing his PhD.
Oh my gosh.
Because he's set, right, Jonathan? So because he is set to go find a cure for Alzheimer's. And another champ, which is incredible, right? And another champion is about to get his degree because he's going to be a special education teacher. Another one's going to be a civil rights attorney. These people, another one's going to nursing school. So the fact of the matter is these kids are here. They're here, and they're going to law clerk for a justice someday. And so there is an inflection point that is coming. It's coming. And that inflection point is that when you look at, for instance, Ellen, you talked about the enormous number of ads and the amount of money that was spent to vilify young people in the transgender community. And when you look at all of the reasons that the people who voted actually voted, you actually don't see in that list of nearly 24 reasons, you don't actually see transgender issues. And so what that means to us, here's what that means to us. The information we have is that folks have elected their people to go and do the business of their state, their city, their locale. And as they see that their own elected officials are spending all this dang time and money on issues that have no impact on everyday folks, they're getting frustrated. And the best example is the Montana state legislature. Did y'all see that this week? What happened?
No, I didn't.
So in the state of Montana, which is homogenous, one sort of person, cisgender, totally het, white folks, old folks, they failed to pass a similar sort of ridiculous ordinance or thing that talked about the bathrooms and who can go into which bathrooms at the state legislature. It failed, including Republicans. Republicans, do you know what they said? They said, look, we didn't get elected by our people to spend time on this. And so I'm not voting for it.
Good.
Yep.
So I just think it's really important.
Sticking to the facts. Sticking to the facts and the misinformation out there, none of us need to learn more about misinformation.
Right.
But, the misinformation is what's always been used against trans people. And, it's the same old playbook. And, if you look at actual facts, like for a while, all we heard about was sports bans, right? And trans people in sports. It was the big topic because that was getting traction at the time. But in reality, Scott and Ellen, do you know that there's 1,200 schools, roughly, that participate in the NCAA sports? There's 520,000 NCAA athletes. It's the largest number in the last few years that they've ever had. And the census is that there's less than 40 transgender athletes out of 520,000. 40.
Yeah.
And half of them are trans-masculine, and we never hear about those athletes, right?
Don't.
We never hear about the 20 that were assigned female at birth and compete at male sports.
Right.
And yet, so we're really talking about 20 people out of over a half a million, right, that actually get this coverage. It's insanity.
It is crazy.
And that is the part of that thing that's making me cookie pants, because if you would believe, like if you hear their argument, you would think there is this an epidemic
everywhere
of trans, and I'm also glad that you brought up it is specifically trans women, because misogyny is alive and well here in the good old US of A. I'm always amazed at how well and even keeled you can be, because it just makes my blood boil sometimes. So I've kept you far too long, but I do want to, like, as we are heading into this new regime kind of thing, and hopefully folks, like, there are state legislatures like Montana that will be like, this is dumb, we should not be talking about this, we need to be focusing on the work for all the people. How can folks become better allies as we are moving forward, and what, we can't read the tea leaves or gaze into a crystal ball to see what's coming down the pike, but it definitely feels like trans folks are going to be the target.
Well, so I think it is just to speak up based on your own personal life experience. If you have ever known or met a transgender person, then it's up to you to stand in and say, the things that you're talking about, that's not my experience, right? And have you ever met a transgender person? And if not, maybe I can introduce you to someone, because you really should meet these amazing people and understand what they go through and what the process might be. I mean, we can educate people, but only with the help of allies that step in and help that work. But Scott, it's not lost on any of us. I mean, here we are on the radio and talking to an LGBTQ plus radio show. I mean, we've come a really long way based on where we've come in the past. Of course, we're not going to go back, but as things get dark the next 4 years, not just for our community, but for so many marginalized communities, we have to stand together. We have to stand up for each other. These are not singular issues. They are all the same issues, right? And that is persecuting people for being different. And we're all different. So let's come together.
Live and let live.
Absolutely.
Amen to all of that. Thank you both so much. It's always a pleasure to have you with us.
Absolutely. Thank you both. You are the best examples of super allies for our children and our community than we'll ever have. So y'all keep doing what you're doing. We love you so much.
Well,
and it's going to be okay.
Yeah,
I know. Oh, I know it's going to be okay. Again, I appreciate the optimism, the looking of the glass is half full. I really appreciate that. Jen Grosshandler and Gearah Goldstein of the Gender Cool Project. Before I let you go, Jen, I have to ask, how's Chazzy's first year of college going?
So she starts in the fall because she decided to do a groovy gap year. She's doing a ton of work for Gender Cool.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Is she just like at the White House again?
She is all over. And we leave for L.A. On Tuesday. And so I know that she loves you so much, and I know she's going to want to come back on at some point and talk about some new things that the organization is doing. But until then, I will make sure to send her your best, and she sends you both love.
She's always welcome here.
All of you are welcome. And again, if you want to find out more information about the incredible work that Gender Cool Project does, go to gendercool.org. Jen Grosshandler, Gearah Goldstein, thank you again so much for joining us today, and thank you for again spreading the information and the love and the dignity and respect that we are all entitled to.
Thank you so much to you both. Happy holidays.
Happy
holidays to you all. Yeah, see, I love having those two on
I do too.
all the time. And
Always
the
great.
thing that one of my biggest takeaways from our conversation with them was about, how we all just need to stand together, and we're not going back.
No,
we're going to stay tall, and we've got to be an ally. So when you see something, say something.
Yep.
There we are. Well, we need to take a break. When we come back, there's more Out Chicago right after this.
I'm David Dodd with the Chicago Black Gay Men's Caucus. Welcome back to Out Chicago on WCPT 820.
Welcome back to Out Chicago as we are rolling along here. Oh, you know what? I want to thank, congrats to Mary from Carol Stream.
Hey, Mary. Congratulations. Good job.
She and Marty. Mary and Marty, they were the winners of Fry the Coop gift cards. Come on.
Lucky, lucky, lucky.
I love a hot chicken.
Who doesn't love free food?
I do not know.
Free good food.
I know.
Yeah.
Beef tallow. That's all I have to say.
2 words.
Beef tallow.
Where's the beef?
Oh, no. But also speaking of like Michelle Williams, who we had played in the last hour, did you? I know you didn't see the Beyonce halftime show?
No.
On Christmas Day? It really was gay Christmas. Like, she was so good. So good. The first time that she was performing songs from her Cowboy Carter album. No.
Nice.
So good.
She's great.
So good. I highly recommend going back. Yeah, I think you can watch it on Netflix.
I'll check it out.
She looks amazing.
She always looks good.
I know. And also, like, MAGA lost their mind.
They did.
Yeah. They're all like, she's scantily clad and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, and there was a lot of Blue Ivy. That's her daughter.
Yes, I know.
Sorry, I had to fill in the blank there.
I know who Blue Ivy is. That's a name you don't forget.
That is true. Blue Ivy was there a lot next to Mom.
Was there, yes.
Doing her thing.
Made an appearance.
It was so wonderful.
That's beautiful. It's a family affair.
It is a family affair, which I loved. Anyway, sorry. We also, so today it's our last show of 2024.
Yes, it is.
We thought we would revisit some conversations that we had.
Some of our faves. Hopefully yours too.
There we are. And we were very lucky. This is the second time that we had Randy on the show.
Becoming a regular.
He's becoming a regular. I believe it was in October. Randy Rainbow came into town. He's a part of the Chicago Humanities Festival. He's got a new book out. And we were lucky enough to catch up with the comedian, viral sensation, hardest working man.
He's fantastic. And Rainbow is
his real last name. So here's our conversation with Randy Rainbow.
Enough about our little talks about Facebook.
Well, but let me tell you, somebody who's figured out the social medias.
Yes.
Oof, there we are. Look, I mean, not only the New York Times bestselling author and adored comedian, Randy Rainbow has a few things on his mind and he wants to talk about in his newest essay collection, Low Hanging Fruit. He's going to be at the Harris Theater for Music and Dance on October 16th to spill the tea. And right now, he's going to be spilling the tea right here. Randy Rainbow, welcome back to the show.
Hi, it's me.
Hello.
Hi, Randy. We love having you back on the show. We're big fans.
I'm thrilled to be with you.
And thank you so much for taking time out. I think you're like en route to something. So thank you.
Well, you know, I mean, I talk about complaints. I already complained to the publicist because they put me in a car when I'm on the phone with you, and I'm afraid it's going to be cutting in and out. Don't blame me.
I won't. I'm already blaming the publicist.
You sound perfect right now.
They're butt heads.
Gorgeous.
Right there we are.
They try.
Yeah. So, you know, I like to say that because we had you on the show like 7 years ago. And
really?
Yeah, it was like 8,000 years ago. And I want to say that it was probably because of our interview that you just, skyrocketed.
Catapulted.
I mean, you've got Emmy nominations, 2 books, you've got tours. How has your life just changed over the course of the past 10 years?
Well, you did launch me. You can have that.
It's true. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's been crazy. It's been amazing. But, it's like the cliche thing. Like, you get so busy and all this wonderful stuff happens, but you're so busy that you can't even really kind of absorb it and feel it. So I try very hard through my complaining and fetching to, really enjoy every moment of it. It's been a crazy, wonderful ride.
Look, and I'm all in for your complaining and fetching, especially in your new book, Low Hanging Fruit. It's hilarious. I love that you want to reclaim the title of complainer. I love to complain. When everybody says I'm like, how are you doing? No complaints. I'm like, you're not trying hard enough because you can always find something to complain about.
See, we need to hang out more.
100%. So what was your process going through as you were creating this new collection of essays in Low Hanging Fruit?
Well, I mean, I wrote it while I was on an 8-month tour, a concert tour. I really, they say right where you are, and I was in hell.
Right.
So that's really where the idea of, just I was like, this is going to be the most complainy book ever. And I said, you know what, let's just embrace it and let's make it a theme and kind of have fun with it. So I did. Every chapter is sort of its own little homage to a complaint, but in its own sort of pastiche and in its own sort of theatrical, I hope, entertaining way.
Oh.
And I'm as I say, I'm entering my Fran Lebowitz era happening.
All right, well, there you see, I'm firmly in my Old Man Jenkins era, and I'm in my Get Off My Lawn era right now, and I was like, that's just why it's resonating with me with everything. I'm like, yes, he hates the same things I hate, you know? So,
Isn't that will bond people?
It will. It really does bond people. And in the meantime, so you're touring around the country, you're writing this book, you were still creating these fabulous videos. One just dropped last week, right, with the Taylor Swift Blank Space video. Like, I again, a tip of the hat to you, Randy Rainbow, for just being able to churn out this content. What do you do to like refill the well? Because it sounds like you are on the go.
Well, I mean, luckily, since we started talking 7 years ago, there has not been a shortage of material in the news. Yeah. So I was pretty smart to make the news kind of my gimmick because it's been an endless well. Horrible for the country, but terrific for my career. Right. I want us to focus on that. So it's really, at this point, I try to just have fun with it, and I'm trying to just bring a little light to the darkness of the headlines as much as possible. But for me, every video is another chance to kind of play dress up and sing a song and do a performance that I probably wouldn't be invited to do in any other kind of mainstream setting. No one's hiring me to be Fanny Bryce, a funny girl, or sing Taylor Swift songs. So I'm doing it myself.
Well, you are so enjoyable. I've had, I watch your videos and then 10 friends will send it to me. I've seen it already, but I'll look at it again because you really touch a lot of people, and you are such a triple threat. I mean, you're a writer, you're a singer, you act. Tell me about your background. I mean, what led you to have such depth on all of these areas?
Oh my God, thank you. I would like you to be my agent.
Okay, I'm available.
We're good.
Good. You know what? I really dabbled in all of those fields my whole life. I never really studied any of them professionally. So I'm just kind of, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I've always just been a fan first and foremost. So I'm kind of just winging it, but I did start on the stage as a kid. Not to plug all my books, but if you pick up a copy of my first memoir, Playing with Myself, I go through the whole kit and caboodle of my stage upcoming.
No one turns a phrase like you do, Randy. And I read that your grandmother was a huge influence on you. Tell us about her.
Yeah. My grandmother was just the funniest, most magical person I knew. She was really a combination of Lucille Ball and Elaine Stritch and B. Arthur.
Oh, perfect.
To name a few. She was just, her comedic timing was everything. And I often say she played a big role in the specific comedy that I'm doing now, because really when I would stay at her house on a Friday night, she'd have the TV on in the background, and she would talk back to it. Like if there were a political interview, say, she would talk back to the TV as though she were conducting the interview. And that's really how I got my rhythm for my humor, and basically I'm just an old lady talking back to her television set.
Perfect training ground. Perfect.
We love a cranky old lady in pink glasses.
That's all nanny.
No, but for real, you are so freaking busy. What is an idea when you get a day off? What do you do?
A day off. I'm very chill. I like to just sit and have a cocktail. And I'm looking forward, after this tour is over, I will be doing that to the end of the year.
Good for you.
People like to try. I complain about people who travel recreationally. I do it for a living, so I think those people are really demented. I can't imagine that. Everyone's always like, you have some time off, you should go on vacation. I'm like, are you kidding me? My idea of a vacation is sitting at home.
Yeah, people don't realize it, but people that travel for a living, they just want to be home when they're not working. That's absolutely true.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we're very thankful that you are going to be traveling because you're coming to the Harris Theater for music and dance on October 16th.
I won't be dancing, though.
No, but will there be music, though? Because, like, I know usually, but it's part of the Chicago Humanities Festival, which is, if you've never been to this experience, it truly is an experience. It's wonderful. It looks like you've got a smarty pants person who's going to be chatting with you.
Moderator, yeah.
Justin Kaufman. Will you be singing as well, or is it just going to be like a good old discussion between the two of you?
I think it's going to be a talkback. I mean, I was not invited, frankly, to sing. I tour with my concert show, which is me and a band, and I'm doing my last 2 shows of the year in Palm Desert. I think this is kind of just a getting to know you, and we're going to do like a Q&A, audience participation, and maybe I'll sing a little bit. You never know.
Oh, well.
You better.
You better sing. You better
You have
sing,
a great
girl.
voice.
I know. Just
you.
wonderful. And like in a total sick and twisted mind, which I just adore.
I watched The Lawyer and the Con Man. I hadn't seen that one yet. I watched that last night, and it just lapped up every moment of it.
Thank you.
You really know how to put it together.
I'm very proud of that one because I made an Oklahoma deep cut. Oklahoma, the musical, like a B-side, Rodgers and Hammerstein B-side of all B-sides.
That is, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I love... Oh, the farmer and the cabin should be free. I love that.
I know, but that's because you're a theater person like I am.
That is.
That's a B-side.
That is, I guess it is a B-side. It is a deep cut. And I've got a bone to pick with you because you do put in some earworms into my head. And I'm like, oh, great. Now I've got Taylor Swift or Oklahoma in my head.
You just never know
for
what
the
you're
rest
going
of
to
the
get
day.
I have to tell you, one of my best friends is listening. Tell him I love him. My friend Janet. She loves you.
Janet. Damn it, Janet. I love you.
Oh, you just made her day. You just made her day. Thank you, Randy.
Well, hey, listen, I want to thank you for keeping all of us sane during all of this insanity. Your work really just brings a smile. It's sharp, it's pointed, it's smart. It's like it's the epitome of what satire.
It's correct. It says all the right things in the right way, the left way.
True. And especially during these times, like it's really hard sometimes to find the funny during these crazy days.
Yes.
So thank you.
You gotta try.
We need you more than ever right now, Randy.
Thank you. I'm here for you. Come see me in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll come.
I know the book is Low Hanging Fruit. Make sure you get that. Why don't you go to some of the gay bookstores, like Women and Children First and Unabridged bookstores and go pick up your copy there. And then you can bask in his glory on October 16th at the Harris Theater. For tickets, you can go to chicagohumanities.org. Randy Rainbow, thanks for joining us today. We can't wait to see you in Chicago on October 16th. Again, pick up the book. It's hilarious.
Thank you,
Randy.
Randy.
Thank you, too. Great to talk to you always, and I'll see you soon.
Same here. We'll do it again. Thanks, Randy.
I love him.
We love him. He wants us to be his managers. Or was it me he wanted me to be his manager? I don't remember.
I think it's you. I think it's just you. I will just be there, too.
I love him. He's down to earth. He's talented. He's
really funny.
He's got it all going on.
He's really funny. And that book, Low Hanging Fruit, is really funny.
I got to read that book.
It's really funny.
How can it not
Highly
be?
recommend.
And we're going to have him on. Let's have him on every year.
Sure.
Because I think he loves coming on.
Done
our
and
show.
done. Of course. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
They do. Well, listen, we should probably take a break.
Okay, let's do that.
And when we come back, it is the final thrilling show-stopping moments about Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Welcome back to Out Chicago on Chicago's Progressive Talk. Can I get you another Bellini?
Oh, please. Yes, that would be lovely. Thank you, Stephanie Miller, which, by the way, you can listen to her 8 to 11. Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday here.
Right here on WCPT. Heartland Signal. I don't know what I'm doing here.
You're like air traffic controller?
I am an air traffic controller. I'm doing my limp wrist exercises.
Oh.
That was my chair dancing to that little funky groovy music that's happening.
Looks like air traffic.
See, there we go. But now I feel like it's kind of like that, like Ding Dong's dance.
If our cameras were on, you could actually
Ding Dong's
see
dance. Well, yeah, but girl, The shade of it all. Oh, well, okay, so we have wrapped up. We are coming to the end of 2024. Only a couple more days.
Thank God.
Yeah, well, really?
I don't know.
I think I kind of want to hang out here for a little bit.
Huh?
I kind of want to hang out here for a little bit as opposed to 2025.
Yeah, of course, we don't know what the next year will bring us.
And again, we don't know what the next year will be bringing us, but this has been like a really, it's been a weird year.
I think a lot of people deal with, elections are stressful, and now we know what's coming. We there's nothing we can do right now about what's going to happen on the 20th. So I think a lot of people, Scott, and I'm sure your circle is like mine, people are really doing self-care, which part of that includes not really paying attention as not having CNN or
24 hours a day.
24 hour news. I mean, I'm on my phone will flash anything I need to see, but I'm not watching and taking in the news like I had during the election. There was so much stress and anxiety built up over what was going to happen. Well, it's happened. We've had a couple months to grieve, and now all we can do is go forward and take care of ourselves and our loved ones the best we can. Mm-hmm. Keep things into perspective. Keep your health as best as you can keep it, because without health, none of it matters anyway.
Yeah, and to piggyback on this too, what you're talking about, we've said it before, and I think it bears repeating, that while right now we're heading into the unknown, we don't know what's coming. I mean, we kind of know what's coming.
But we don't know. There's a lot of questions.
But there's a lot of stuff on the federal level. So, like, if we live your values and sit here and start working in your community.
Yes.
Like, make sure, start small. If we can't do all the big things, but you can protect your family, you can protect your things.
Local government.
All of that stuff.
Things that you do have some control over still.
Right. And start out, just living your values. If you feel like if people should be kind to one another, be kind to one another. If you think that, the environment is an issue for you, then continue to compost and recycle and ride a bike or walk to places. Live your values. Those are the things that we're going to be able to control in our immediate world. We're not, everything else is so
I think that's the reality.
There.
We cannot, we were giving money, we were knocking on doors, we were, doing what we do here on the radio. Okay, we did all that. Now we have to just accept where we are and just keep ourselves as healthy and happy as we can, and just keep our expectations real.
There we go. Well, hey, we've got to go pretty soon, but were there any big highlights in 2024? That stood out for you?
I had a couple of great trips, but one of them was the eclipse in Southern Illinois.
Yeah, everybody went to go see the Let's Go
Out. Went with a couple of friends, Janet and Marianne, and Kathy and I went down there to my old stomping grounds in the Carbondale area. We were in Makanda. Magical, spiritual, phenomenal, and the whole weekend was great because they knew how to do it. They'd had the total eclipse in 2017, and then it happened again. It was magic. It was beautiful. I loved it. It was one of the absolute highlights. How about you?
This sounds so shallow, but the fact that I got to see both Madonna and Missy Elliott this year, I'm still glowing from that.
That's happiness. That brings you joy. Nothing wrong with that.
My Missy Elliott shirt, the one that's bedazzled. I have now deemed that is going to be my official holiday shirt. So I wore it Thanksgiving. I'm wearing it at Christmas. I'm wearing it at every major holiday because it makes me so happy. It brings me so much joy. People have been sending me podcasts. I've learned so many things about Missy Elliott. Did you know she's a genius?
No, I did not.
She's a genius IQ level.
IQ. She's a Mensa person.
When she was younger, they had her take a test, and she scored genius level, and they're like, no, they can't. No, you have to take it again. And she did it again. Still genius.
You're attracted to geniuses.
I know. Look at this. Look at the people in the company I keep right in here. But yeah, it was that's something that really
and it brought you joy. And that's the other thing. We really have to work on bringing it. It's okay to bring yourself joy, however it happens. We're getting joy out of the fact that our dog is going to have an extension on her life thanks to modern medicine. So those are the things that are precious and dear.
Joy is a practice. That is my mantra that I am carrying into 2025. That joy is a practice. And if you don't practice finding joy, it's harder and harder to be joyful.
That's true.
So that is what I would like to carry into. And also I would like to express my gratitude and thanks to all of you out there who have listened to us. We are finishing up our 11th year
on the radio here at WCPT.
This is officially the longest job I've ever had.
I know you said that.
It's true. I've always 4 years is usually the maximum. Then I move on. But I really want to thank
a lot of people in this world.
Yeah, I want to thank Michael Damsky, who this was kind of his idea
right,
to do this. Who took a chance on somebody who had zero radio experience, and I feel
two people.
Well, you had more radio experience a little bit than I did.
Right.
But you knew the ins and outs.
Right.
But thank you to Michael Damsky and thank you to everybody at WCPT for supporting us, for supporting the LGBTQ community.
Indeed.
You always make sure that we are an incredible presence at the parade. That's Devin. Thank you.
Yes.
That's you and all of your hard work. When it comes down to that, I can already see your eyes going oh God, please don't bring that up. It's so hard.
He's got it down to a science.
I know, but thank you to everybody at WCPT. Thank you to the listeners out there,
to our sponsors,
Thank you.
There's room for more of you.
Always room for more. I just did a hand fart. That's how I want to go through. But yeah, thank you for the past 11 years. It's been great. We're looking forward to year 12.
Yes, we are.
So Devin, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Devin. We
Paul,
love you.
Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Paul.
We're still trying to figure out what that is, but thank you for all that you do. He's got who's holding up sheets. Oh, that's right. She does sheets. Ellen Miller, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for my cheese.
You deserve it. The cheesiest cheese I could get for you. The stinkiest cheese for my buddy over there.
I love it. Have a happy new year.
Happy New Year to you too, Scott.
There we are. And I'm Scott Duff. And until next week,
stay proud.